嘘ではない。現実の答えだ。
あなた、飲み込まれる。ふざけるな。
事実は一つだけだ。お前たち親は俺と7人を捨てたんだよ。お前の世界は俺が否定する。消え失せろ。第98代皇帝シャルルジ・ブリタニアは私が殺した。
そういえばお前はブリタニア王家の血を引く者だったな。
シャルルおじいさま。
Yep, you heard that right. Somehow Charles has returned, and I will explain how. But we gotta go through the whole episode to learn exactly how we got to this moment. And that begins by discussing Stanley's fate. So I got good news and bad news. The good news is he finished his work connecting the Falbout to the Roombas. Bad news, he was no longer useful. So rest in peace, Stanley. Then we pick up from where we left off in the last episode. We see this gigantic submarine launching all the Roombas in the ocean. And these human blenders of death travel everywhere. Waikiki, Honolulu, Hawaii, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Port Kobe of Japan, Zilkstan, Britannia Republic, Cape Town, South Africa, and 48 other major cities. With a global threat, we need a team to fight back, so Gino went full Nick Fury and summoned the Avengers of Code Geass. This starts with the Wyvern Squad from Akito the Exiled, consisting of Akito, Ayano, Yukiya, Ryo, and Layla. They fight back using the old Alexanders with Layla as their commander. If you don't remember, this is Ryo's Nightmare Frame, Yukiya's, and Ayano's. By the way, let me know in the comment section below, which do you prefer? CGI Alexanders from Akito the Exiled, or the 2D animation Alexanders from Rose of Recapture? Then in Zilkstan, Suzaku fights the Roombas in a Maharoba, spotting the Lancelot colors. Also, Suzaku says this:
They dare threaten the peace of humanity?
Dude, that's rich coming from someone who ignored the conflict in the Hokkaido block. You think that's crazy? Well, business is about to pick up as we move to the Oz of the Reflection section, where Glinda Knight members Alderan and Sokika attack the human blenders using their respective nightmare frames. Alderan in the Lancelot High Grail and Sokika in the Sheffield Eye. By the way, I love both of their English dub voices.
Control room, I need a status report.
We're really in for it now, aren't we?
It was really nice to see them animated and talking. Then in Cape Town, we can see Orpheus in the Byakuyan from the distance, and later we get a close-up of this awesome nightmare frame. Of course, we can't forget Maribel, who is with Orpheus serving as emotional support. I guess her nightmare frame piloting days are over. Back at the Black Knight base, Gino tells Ryo to send word for all nightmare frame pilots that they can find. This is kind of like the mustering of the Rohirrim. So does that mean that Q1 is coming back? Let's hope so. We have to move on from the side characters to the main ones because Rose and Ash are traveling once again in the trailer, now sitting next to each other, showing their newly established bond. First, Rose talks to Kuroto, who tells her that the Roombas are in the Luxembourg domain. Natalia then calls Rose, letting her know that they are fine, but Sakura could be in danger. I thought Natalia was in jail, but okay. The call gets disconnected and we see a Roomba headed towards the Neo-Britannian Government Office Imperial Palace, where Sakura is currently at. Normally I don't talk about the intro because it sucks, but they finally added some new changes. We see a close-up of an unknown child, and then later on we see the reveal of Norlan's eyes. Stick with me, we will get to that soon. Before we continue, if you are enjoying the content and finding it helpful, entertaining, or unfortunately depressing, then please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are getting close to the end of Rose of Recapture, and you're not going to want to miss how this series ends. Now let's go back to Code Geass, the rise of Sakya. Somehow Charles returned. After the intro, we see the Black Knights use antiquated nightmare frames to fight the Roombas. So bad in fact, Nara had to save a member from certain death by taking out that Roomba. Despite this act of heroism, the other Black Knight members threaten and blame her for these attacks. Honestly based. Then Shiro calls them off, saying that Nara helped them, and it's stuff like this that makes peace a pipe dream. Shiro, piss off you moron. There's so much stupidity in that line that deserves its own video. Anyways, Nara says, judge me now for my actions moving forward. Well, we have to, since prior to this, you committed awful atrocities while working and supporting a genocidal psychopath, unlike my beloved Cecile. Isn't that right?
Anyway, please try one of these.
Oh, you know what? Maybe another time. Look, I'm not in the mood for indigestion right now. Ow! Rose and Ash meet up with Yuno to prepare the Z Ortigia for flight. After much discussion, Rose agrees to save Sakura, leaving the Luxembourg domain to the 7 Shining Stars. By the way, that's where May and Valen are, and that's why Rose was concerned about the area. Anyways, Rose and Ash make their way to the Imperial Palace. At the Imperial Manor, located at the Imperial Palace, Sakura wants to talk to Norlan to learn what's going on, but Walter insists that she doesn't. He states that Norlan won't tell her anything, and because she's the most important person in the nation, she should use her authority to help out. Sakura agrees, but a Roomba attacks the mansion. Does Sakura know that Natalia was taken prisoner before? Who cares? Let's move on. At the Luxembourg domain, the 7 Shining Stars save May and Valen from that Roomba, and then Haruka later saved Minamori from the same Roomba. I don't know if they knew that Rose was close to these people. Also, Haruka wonders if these Roombas are attacking the whole world.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
You just say bingo.
And of course, Haruka is still channeling her inner Colin. After the break, we briefly see Walter and Sakura trying to escape from the Roomba. They decide to head underground. Then we see Ash and Rose, who are close to arriving at the Imperial Manor. Rose hopes that Sakura is okay after seeing that the manor was destroyed from the distance. Ash speculates that they safely evacuated before its destruction. Sakura and Walter head underground, and of course, run to Catherine. After much back and forth, Catherine agrees to help them, something that surprises both Walter and Sakura. Ash and Sakuya land on the mansion only to be greeted by a Roomba, which they destroy with ease while Arnold watches from the window. Man, if these Roombas are that weak, give Colin and Suzaku their nightmare frames from Resurrection, and this whole thing gets resolved in a matter of hours. Anyways, Rose searches the whole mansion only to not find Sakura, then meets up with Ash, who found Norlan's chambers. Rose deactivates her necklace so she can use Gias on Norlan. This is stupid since Kristoff created anti-Gias countermeasures, which Norlan would obviously have, and Sakuya knows this. So they make their way in, and Rose finds a secret underground pass, a computer monitor showing all the areas that the Roombas are attacking. We even learn the name of these machines, which are Loki, which stands for Lethal, Onslaught, Keen, Agility, Invincible, if you give a shit. Also, this is like the acronym Satan in the Gurren Satan 8 Elements, only worse. Sakuya realizes that Norlan must be underground and maybe with Sakura. Then Ash sees the swords that Norlan killed Nicole with, which triggered his PTSD, arguably one of the best moments in the entire series. Rose tries to snap Ash out of it. While they walk together in the tunnels, Catherine considers what Sakura said to her earlier. Then we learn about her past through a flashback. So basically, when Catherine was a little girl, a random man attempted to kidnap her, killing her parents in the process. Conveniently, Norlan was there to kill him and save Catherine. This is where Catherine first believed that might makes right. She thought he was awesome in that moment. I think Norlan orchestrated this whole thing. So Norlan is basically the evil version of Dalton by gathering orphans, only raising them to become psychopathic killers. Following the flashback, Catherine starts doubting her might makes right philosophy. She asks Sakura what she meant by true strength. Sakura explains it is when you use your power to help out others, even if you don't have much to begin with. I know, it's rocket science. And of course, we get another Catherine boob jiggle during this. Wouldn't want you to take this too seriously now. Anyways, Catherine gives them her device, which will grant them access to leave the mansion. Catherine walks away, finding this whole thing annoying, something we both agree with. Back to Ash and Rose. Ash snaps out of it, but before he can join Sakuya, Arnold walks in, pointing his gun at Ash. This was so silly. Anyways, Ash tells Rose to head out to Norlan on her own while he takes on Arnold in hand-to-hand combat using those swords on the wall. Arnold ended his whole career when he said,
"With those weapons you seem to remember so well."
So the two start their duel of fates. This reminded me of Akito vs Shin, Jerry vs Sayako, and Sayako vs Suzaku. Rose heads downstairs where we see the foul bout and all its glory. She tries to use Gyas on Norlan and of course it doesn't work. He also has a shield to block her bullets. Sakuya asks Norlan what's his goal in all of this mass murder. Norlan states it's to exterminate the human race, just like the Daleks.
Exterminate all humans! Exterminate! Annihilate! Destroy!
Also,
We'll see about that, bitch.
Norlan mentions that Sakuya is of royal blood, so he takes off his mask. And we finally get the face reveal. He has purple eyes, but then, this is the crazy part, Sakuya says,
シャルルおじい様
Before Norlan answers him, we have to disappointingly quickly finish the final battle between Ash and Arnold, where Arnold does his Tim McCarver impersonation in stating the obvious.
最後に勝った方が勝者だ!
Then Ash defeats him using the Nala move. Since we didn't see him die on screen, Arnold will be back. Heck, he survived his Nightmare Frame explosion. At this point, I would say he is indestructible. Now, back to Norlan. What does he say in response to Sakuya? Well, the answer is yes. He is Charles, or to be accurate, a clone of Charles. You see, Charles used the research of one William Bish, the same man whose research gave us that wonderful clone story. Charles created Norlan to pass on his consciousness to if he was too old to finish the Ragnarok connection. They never explained how that would work, by the way. But Charles died, so Norlan was left alone, and here are the results. So in a way, Charles really did come back, and they did copy Disney.
From a certain point of view.
And not only did they copy Star Wars, but they also copied Full Frontal from Gundam Unicorn, a clone of Char and the leader of Neo Zeon.
But wait! There's more!
They also copied Ro Lu Cruze from Gundam Seed, who was a clone of Mu La Flaga's father, Al Da Flaga. And of course, just like Norlan, he also wants to wipe out all of humanity. Just when I thought this series couldn't sink any lower, here we are. Anyways, Sakuya plays the guess the villain's motivation game. Norlan says no to everything she asked, but she did miss some questions, which Norlan has to play defense for the writers. Are you doing this because the writers ran out of ideas?
It is not.
Are you doing this because the writers want to copy Star Wars?
It is not.
Are you doing this as a copy of Full Frontal from Gundam Unicorn or Ro Lu Cruze from Gundam Seed?
It is not.
Then there's my personal question. Do you think Rose is doing a good enough job in recapturing the magic of the original anime?
It is not.
At least he answered that one honestly. Anyways, Attack of the Clones Norlan climbs into the Foulbout, discusses how he can see all the data from the Foulbout. We get one more close-up of Full Frontal Cruze Neo Zenania Norlan, and then to top it all off, he copies Thanos of all people. From Avengers, Gundam to Star Wars, this episode copied from all of them. And that's why, even though it was enjoyable at times, this episode was horrible. It feels like I'm watching a terrible rendition of Better Things.